Hello and welcome back to my channel. So for those who haven't followed in the past, I want to talk a bit about personal development, careers, etc, etc. I'm a trained coach, I have a background in finance, and I tend to do these videos every week, working from home on this day of the week, and uncut, whatever comes to mind, I'll roll with. So today, what I was thinking about was trying to apply a principle that I learnt many years ago to the idea of learning something that's going to be relevant for the future. And the concept is one I got from the personal development, productivity, I don't know what he is, guru, Brian Tracy. If you haven't heard of the guy, Google him. He's been around forever, interesting guy, and so on. Anyway, so his concept is SLAM. It's the acronym SLAM, S-L-A-M. And the letters stand for simplify, leverage, accelerate, and multiply. So these letters are a way in which to get things done, basically, to get things done in a systematic way that effectively kind of gives you a framework to work with. So I was thinking about this in terms of things I've been trying to improve on, to learn. And one thing we all need to be cognizant of, or certainly aligned with, is the world of AI. And I'm never going to be an AI expert. I'm not going to be the person who works at Google, is the AI ambassador for a certain product. It's not. It'll never happen. You need to have a tech background to do that. However, wherever you are in the workforce, you have to have some form of some form of understanding of how AI can be applied to your role. Because if you don't get that understanding, someone else with that understanding will be doing your job. It's the way the world will work. And that's something that at the moment people are starting to talk about, but aren't necessarily doing anything about, and are able to get away with it. 2 years' time, 3 years' time, 5 years' time, things are going to be very different. So you have to take some kind of ownership, some kind of responsibility to learning around the AI space. Now, a few months ago, 3 months ago maybe, I might have even mentioned it on this channel, that I started trying to learn about AI. So I put in some comments into DeepSeek. I thought I'd just try out DeepSeek to give me a curriculum to learn about AI. And it gave me this really long curriculum. You learn about this concept, that concept, AI agents, how to apply it, and so on. And I've worked through some of it. Some of it is interesting. Some of it's over my head, but it's been kind of informative. Now, the reality is, as I said, I'll never become the expert in terms of someone who knows everything about everything. What I need to do is fine-tune my approach so that I can actually apply it in real life. No one's going to be the perfect. It's a bit like saying learning to be a chef. You could be a chef that understands a certain type of food or certain type of skill, baking versus whatever form of cooking. But the idea is you won't necessarily be an expert at everything. So I need to fine tune my approach to one that is relevant to where I am in my career. And being a Gen Xer, I am later in my career, where I am in my career and how I can use it both in my current role but also in future opportunities. And anyway, so back to SLAM. So Brian Tracy's idea, SLAM. So the S in terms of the SLAM is simplify. And so from an AI perspective, if you were thinking about learning about AI, how could you learn about it in a simplified way? And I don't mean dumbing down, but in a way that is either easy to access in terms of YouTube, in terms of whatever form of learning works best for you, but also in a way that's relevant to your role. So there's no good learning about how to build a chatbot if all you really need to do is know how to do AI prompts, for example. So simplify is to simplify in the context of what's relevant to you. So that's the S. Now, leverage. So I see leverage as both in terms of leveraging what's already out there, other people's knowledge. So again, going back to YouTube, going to learning, going on to Coursera to find a course, or Udemy or EDX, all these places that have resources, many of which are free. So that's leveraging other people's understanding for you to learn it. But also it's to see how you can apply it straight away. So leverage what you know in the context of your role. So if you suddenly learn about how to do AI prompts, how about using what you've learned to apply it to your job? Even if it's not part of your job description, even if your work isn't, or your manager hasn't actually told you to learn it. It's all about being, again, taking ownership. And I think that's going to be very important. Now, the A. So the A was actually the thing that triggered the whole video here. You know, it's because, as I said, I started doing a lot of this about 2-3 months ago. But there wasn't necessarily a sense of urgency. So I've just been kind of piddling around with it, haven't really kind of pushed on. Actually, I need to accelerate my learning. I've just remembered something that came to mind yesterday. So I've got a spreadsheet that I look at work, which the tab in the spreadsheet is all about learning. And I had noted down a few things I wanted to learn, and it was dated August 2021. And it was like, and I thought, wow, I haven't actually done what I said I was going to do back then. There was no urgency, there was no compelling reason, and yet when I was thinking about what I should be learning, I started writing down the same things I talked about in August 2021. Which is scary, because really I should have now moved on to the next thing and evolved. So I need to implement some more urgency in my approach. So that is to ultimately accelerate my learning. So that means, I guess, having a framework to learn by. It means knowing which modality of learning works best for me. Personally, a lot of it's about hearing it. So whether it's podcasts or seeing it in YouTube, and also trying to teach it. Even me talking to people on YouTube, for example, is a good way in which to learn, because you learn better through teaching. That's almost a side thing. So the acceleration bit is very important. It's all well and good learning piecemeal, over time, and some things make more sense that way. But I realise if I actually need to push on, particularly as in its current context, not everybody is jumping deep down into AI. We all know AI exists and we all kind of play about with it. But I can guarantee there are very few people, relatively speaking, that are actually trying to apply it in a way that will get them ahead at work. So in that context, you should be trying to get yourself ahead of everybody else so that you become the go-to in the context of AI in your job. So accelerate. So accelerate your learning so that you are ahead of everybody else. And the final letter is M. So M's always been one I've kind of struggled to understand how to use, because it says multiply, and I think the idea is to multiply its use or multiply your learning. I think in a way it's about using what you've learned in a variety of different contexts. So not just in your job, but also in your home life, also in your social life, also speaking to people about it, not just at work, but your friends, and trying to make it in a way a bigger thing for you, in a way that can build your personal brand. It could be a branding exercise, because you can be known as a person who speaks about AI or can teach AI in a range of different contexts, even if your knowledge is very, very narrow and deep. So yes, so that's what I wanted to talk about. So you can apply SLAM to any manner of parts of your life. It doesn't have to be AI, it doesn't have to be learning. It could be simply tidying the house, simplify things by putting things in certain parts of the room, leverage your kids to do some of the work, accelerate, just do things now, and multiply the approach in different rooms. Yeah, that just came to mind as an aside. But yes, as I said, think about SLAM as something that you can apply in different parts of your life in a way that gives you a framework and a structure. Because a lot of times we don't do certain things, we don't get things done because we don't know how to approach it. We don't have a framework. This is a simple framework. It's not a universal one that will work for everybody in every context, but it certainly is one that most people can apply in a way that will at least take you forward, rather than have you navel gazing and trying to work out what to do next. Okay, well that's it this time. If you found any value in this, like and subscribe, and again I can apply some other thoughts that I have around my day job, which is finance, wealth management, my previous entrepreneurial experience as a career coach and career writer, and a whole host of other things about life. And yeah, I might even talk a bit more about my life going forward. So yeah, like and subscribe, and until next time, bye for now.